All right, guys, so today we're going to talk about the best way to transport your watch when you travel. Let's do this. So today I really just want to go over some of my thoughts on the various ways to transport or carry your watches when you are going on vacation. So I'm going to go over the pros and cons with the various methods of carry. I'm going to talk about the way that I personally carry my watches when I'm on vacation. So first and foremost, when I'm going on vacation, I will usually wear a timepiece on my wrist. When you go through airport security, you can oftentimes decline to take your wristwatch off and let TSA or let the security professionals make the accommodations for you to wear your wristwatch going through the airport terminal. But even still, I will oftentimes bring a second timepiece when I'm going on vacation. So for most vacations, I can usually get by with just two timepieces. So something like a tool watch and a sport watch, or maybe a dress watch and a sport watch, is usually going to get me through any scenario that I might find myself in on my average vacation. So one way that you can transport that second watch is actually how the dealers do it, in a watch coffin. Now, coffins are usually a clear or plastic clamshell. The inside of the coffin will usually be lined with styrofoam, and it's usually going to keep your watch safe from being bumped or scratched. Now, most new watches that are shipped to an authorized dealer actually aren't shipped in the watch box itself. The box is shipped separately, and then the watch itself is usually shipped in a coffin. Sometimes when people sell watches on the secondary market, they actually ship the watch in the watch box itself, which I would never recommend doing. Usually the pillows don't secure the timepiece well enough to prevent the timepiece from bashing around inside the box. And sometimes the buyer actually receives the watch and it ends up being damaged and causes a bit of an issue between the seller and the buyer, when really the big problem was that the seller improperly shipped the watch. So I would say that coffins, they look kind of ugly, but they are affordable and they are a safe way to transport your watch. A coffin is usually able to withstand pressures of tightly packed luggage. And if you do end up cracking the plastic coffin, you're not out a bunch of money. They're pretty affordable to replace. Now, the second way to transport your watch that I want to talk about is with a simple, soft leather or canvas watch roll. Now, these I think look really good. They're very affordable. However, I don't think that they offer enough protection for me personally to confidently put it in a piece of luggage or a carry-on and protect it for the duration of the trip. So I think these look really good for those Instagram shots, or maybe if I'm just throwing it in a messenger bag to go to my local watch meetup, then maybe I'll use one of these soft-sided rolls, but I don't regularly travel with a canvas or leather soft-sided roll. Now the next method of transport that I want to talk about is what they call the clamshell. Now clamshells are really affordable, they're super easy to use. You can simply open them up, you can lay your watch inside of it, close it, zip it up, and it does offer some protection to your watch. The inside of the clamshell should have a soft felt liner that's going to help reduce scratches to the watch case. Sometimes watches don't fully lay flat because of the design of the end links. Well, a clamshell is able to accommodate that watch design properly. Now, what I don't like about clamshells is, number one, they're kind of ugly, and number two, the clamshell naturally wants to rest on its side, and it does offer some protection from that lateral compression. Now, if I squeeze this clamshell hard enough, I can actually feel the watch case. And what I do worry about is the crown, which is one of the most vulnerable points of a wristwatch. So I can just kind of imagine a tightly packed suitcase with that lateral pressure down onto the crown, or imagine if you're transporting a chronograph as your second watch, having the watch case itself put undue pressure on those pushers. So for that reason, I don't generally recommend clamshells for higher end luxury timepieces. Now, another option that you'll oftentimes see are hard-sided watch rolls. Now, this is a 3-piece watch roll, and this is probably more than I would ever travel with, certainly. But manufacturers do make 1 or 2-piece watch rolls. Now, one of the things I really do love about the hard-sided leatherette watch rolls is that they're actually really sturdy. You're gonna have a hard time damaging the watch inside of a watch roll. Now, you do need to be mindful about the internal pillows. Sometimes the pillows can shift a little bit and can kind of jostle around the timepiece a little bit. So if you are gonna go with the watch roll option, I would say make sure that the interior pillow secures the timepiece on it well, and that the pillow itself is secure enough inside the watch roll that it's not bouncing around too much. Now, these hard-sided watch rolls are gonna be a little bit more expensive. I do think that they look good, but the downside of a hard-sided watch roll, even a single watch roll, is they do take up a little bit more space. For the vast majority of my vacations, I just wanna take a carry-on with me, and so space is usually gonna be of the essence. For that reason, I usually will not travel with a hard-sided watch roll. Another method that I will sometimes see people use to transport their timepieces is with a hard-sided box. Now, a hard-sided box can certainly protect the watch if the pillow is designed well. I think it looks really good. They can be a little bit on the pricey side, but similar to the hard-sided watch roll, I think that it can be a little bit bulky to pack inside of a carry-on piece of luggage. Which brings me to my last and preferred method of transport, the leather service pouch. Now, what's nice about the leather pouch is that it is nice and compact. It doesn't take up much space inside the carry-on. Now, inside the leather pouch, you should have some kind of a protective liner, maybe a piece of leather or a small piece of foam, and I'll slip that piece of leather or foam between the back of the watch case and the clasp itself. This way, when the watch is getting jostled about in transport, a little piece of leather or foam will actually serve to protect the inside of the bracelet and will also prevent unnecessary scratches to the back of the watch case. And now once that watch is placed inside that leather pouch, it is able to be compacted inside of my carry-on. So this is going to take up a lot less space than something like a hard-sided watch roll or a box, and it offers quite a bit of protection from that lateral compression inside my carry-on luggage. I feel like the service pouch protects the crown a little bit more than something like the clamshell that can be compressed in my carry-on luggage. Another thing that I love about these leather pouches is that they look really good. I mean, I really enjoy taking my watches out on adventures and taking them to new places. And then when I'm out and about and I want to take some photographs of my watch, I'm able to place the watch on top of the leather. It protects the sides of the case from hard surfaces, and it also gives a little bit of visual interest when I'm filming or photographing my watches in unique places. Now, leather watch pouches can be had at a really good price. The inside of them is usually going to be soft, so it's going to help protect the watch case and crystal and not scratch it. As long as you use a leather patch or foam pad on the back side of the watch case, you're not going to damage your watch. It's nice and compact, it's affordable, it looks cool, and at the end of the day, if it does get damaged, it's not that expensive to replace. So there you guys have it. The way that I like to transport my extra watch when I'm traveling is the soft-sided leather pouch. So remember guys, it doesn't matter if you use a watch roll, a clamshell, or a service pouch to transport your watch as long as you're wearing your watches.